Hello friends, Malli Pontadith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. We are out there interviewing 1,000 community builders this year. That's our goal. And we're delighted to bring to you this morning our friend, Aaron Velky. Thank you so much, Aaron, for being a part of our initiative.
I'm honored. I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you so much. Well, you're a new friend to our community, and we just met you recently, but we love what it is that you're doing for your community and for us as a collective society. So could you please start by introducing yourself and letting us know, our audience know, what you're doing in the world right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be flattered to. So my name is Aaron. Hello, everybody. I'm the CEO of Ortus Academy. We believe that in order to have a meaningful life, an individual needs to have financial intelligence. And we would classify financial intelligence a little deeper than literacy. It's understanding the mechanics of money, and it's understanding that emotions, habits drive our behaviors. And we fundamentally think that education in this space, financial intelligence education, not only betters individuals, but it betters communities, it betters families, it betters conversations, and drives happiness, which is sort of our underlying theme in all of our work.
So what motivated you personally to launch something like this? Like, what was it that said, you know, this is my lane right now, this is what I'm meant to do, and this is what's needed in our community? Like, how did you come up with, I gotta do this? There's 1,000 choices you could make, but you made this choice.
I've been involved with youth for a long time. I've coached youth soccer professionally for now 7 years. And being around kids and especially kids through adolescence, you start to notice trends. And the trends that I see are really, I think they invoke a lot of fear, because there's a massive disconnect between what a student, a young adult, is seeing in the world and the way the world could be. There's also a disconnect between the way they imagine their life and the way that life actually is. In sports, right, the manifestation of success in sports is really simple, but the equation is still often unknown. You've got to work hard. You've got to understand how to deal with failure. You've got to be creative, and you have to have, obviously, a natural bit of talent. But even among those four things, there's the outlier of, are you around the right people? Are you learning the right things that engage the mind into these mentalities and mindsets? And when you translate that into, you know, what happens after college, or how you get into college, or what you're doing in high school, there's a really wide gap. I was a financial economics major, and when I graduated college, still didn't understand personal finance. I still didn't know how to manage my own money. And I went through a lot to learn that. But then the single most amazing thing that I dealt with right after college was learning that I could make money doing something I loved. And I think the noise that we get when it comes to money and earning is often, you're going to do this until you have to retire. And it's going to be a long, annoying, frustrating grind of a road. And, you know, when I learned to make money doing things I enjoyed, the whole world changed. It went from black and white to colors. And that's a moment that we want to bring to a lot of individuals, where happiness is the fundamental reason for the conversation about money. And if we can tie these things together, we can enlighten somebody to possibility and drive possibility through their decisions. And when I met with the co-founder, Josh Massey, you know, he and I got together really early in 2014, I believe, and everything was different. We just decided that this was a path, and look, don't get me wrong, we had no idea what we were really getting into as a rabbit hole. But I think once you make a choice and see that it has impact, and you get hooked on impact as the driver for your business, your life is different. And I'm really grateful that my life is different now.
You are so speaking our language. Thank you so much. Thank you for validating, confirming, and also teaching that this is possible. You know, the impact that we create, the gifts and the talents that are naturally ours to offer to the world is of value. And I just love that this is a part of your mission now, right? right, to spread this, to especially to our youth, especially to our youth and in communities where really this is not taught, this is not shared, this is an impossible dream for them, and it's not impossible. So thank you so much for that. Now, because our theme is all around honoring and featuring conscious leaders, mindful leaders, change agents, have you experienced or can you share moments in life where you've been able to be supported by either a mentor or a mindful conscious leader that really showed you a different way of thinking or being in your life?
Yeah, if you're a business leader and you don't have mentors, I would question your leadership just because it follows downward, right? I learned to coach by being coached, and I would be a bad coach if I don't believe in coaching. I've got a series of blackboards here, like glass boards, and on one of them, I've got a list of mentors that I stay in touch with. About every month, I email them updates and just kind of stay in the loop with them through the activities that I'm doing. But there have been several people along the way that have really changed my thinking. The first was a guy that he really challenged me to think about why we were doing this at a deeper level. So we subscribe to the idea of conscious capitalism, and that's that every stakeholder we treat like a stockholder. So we drive value to all of them, not just the person that is an owner or an investor, but we want to drive value to the parents, the kids, the schools, the communities, the neighborhoods, our staff, our team, all of those things, right? We drive value to all of them. And he did a great job of challenging us to really think through all of the different elements of the business and our why. And we worked through all kinds of frustration to really drill down to the simplicity. We just had to drive through complexity first. I think another really encouraged me to think through what it meant to be a leader, like in the sense of activity, which we love to talk about here in the States, right? Production, production, production. The ultimate question isn't how do you do leadership? You can't do leadership. Now you can be a leader, but that is a significant difference from doing and this like incessant need to do more. So I was encouraged to think about who I was being versus what I was doing. And I now and again have to check in. I'm actually in the process of a check-in to make sure that I'm being the right person. But that mentorship relationship in particular was probably the most meaningful because I have to consistently rearrange and reorganize my schedule to make sure that I'm being the leader that I want to be. So I would encourage anybody listening, you know, if you find the right mentors, you'll find that you can build the right path. But it just takes a village, right? And I'm very fortunate that I've got a lot of people around me that, you know, they keep my bowling lane really narrow. They make sure I don't miss the pins. And along the way, they check in and just say, hey man, how you doing? And that's really meaningful.
I really love that you said that because I feel like in the world, especially of entrepreneurship, there's this belief that we have been embedded in our brain that entrepreneurship is very lonely, that we spend a lot of time in our heads, and that is true, but that is also a choice that we're making. And so the fact that you're reiterating how important it is to build that community for yourself, to have mentors, to have peers and colleagues and mastermind groups that are there for the right intention, that support to you, that nurture you. It's less lonely, definitely, and it's also much more fun. And you get to be more creative and productive because you're not sitting there stewing on one idea and spinning in circles. So I value what you said and I appreciate that. Now, as you think about community builders and community change agents in your life, when you've witnessed and you've watched other people really reshaping their communities, are there consistent attributes that come to mind for you that you can just say, wow, pretty much that's an overarching theme for these folks?
Yeah, I do think there are several consistencies. One is patience. So you want to make change and we all want it now, right? We live in like an instant gratification, snap your fingers kind of world. So all of the change leaders I know are incredibly patient. I think the narrative around change is often misguided in that it is expected that you make change quickly, and strong change doesn't take place quickly. It also doesn't take place without a lot of effort and energy. But the biggest consistency that I see, like hands down, is the ability to have conversations with anybody. So in my mind, that's one, a lack of judgment based on, social parameters or demographics. And two, it's genuine interest in the constituent that you're talking to, no matter where they are. And in order to make change, I think you have to understand where somebody is, where someone's coming from. It often takes more listening than speaking. And if there's a person that is unable to talk to the people that they're trying to help, they can't help. They just genuinely can't help.
Yeah. Wow. So are there other causes, movements, and grassroots initiatives, social issues that really resonate with your heart that you'd like to highlight and feature during this interview?
Yeah. Well, let me share two things that may be helpful for listeners or for others in the network. One, I am incredibly motivated by mortality. And that is an incredible lens to look at the world through. That is so clear and so simple, because we love to pretend like we're going to live forever, and we make choices that, well, I'll do it when I'm 50, I'll do it when I'm 40. And the second is I spent a lot of time the last 3 years really building a mission statement. And that mission statement keeps me very aligned. Now, a lot of my work is inside of this lane, and it may be for different causes. I mean, I certainly believe in teaching people about money, but the conversation about money is really about happiness. The conversation about happiness is really about your process. And so I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of work engaging in these high level discussions about what your process is, whether you make $10 million or $2. We often think that, we'll fix the process when we get here, and there isn't a there. So I think in that, obviously education is something I believe in, and also am somewhat antagonistic towards. I think that physicality, nutrition, things like that are also something that I believe in really greatly. Same with the discussion about exploring spirituality. I think those are really, really woven into this. And as we facilitate conversation about money, it's often very much about values and, personal self-awareness and some of these deeper things that are way outside the scope of typical money education. If you ask somebody for financial literacy, we are not a financial literacy company. We were a nonprofit in financial literacy. We grew, we opened a corporation and a for-profit to really scale this nationally. And we said, this isn't the right category for us. We don't fit in this. We are financial intelligence. We are deeper. We are way more meaningful. But all of that is really centered around us knowing that talking about a budget like number crunching doesn't work. And so there's a deepened sense of spirituality, health, wellness, all those things that really fall under what we're doing. And this has just been a great way for me to take all of the things I care about, conversations, nutrition, health, family units, things like that, and weave it into one thing, one purpose.
Mm-hmm. When things are difficult, and you feel challenged, or you're feeling just low energy, right? Because there's a lot of work that you're doing, and you're spending a lot of heart and soul and throwing it all into these this initiative, or many initiatives that you're working on. Is there a philosophy, motto, quote that really helps you feel grounded and come back to center?
One that I've had to consistently remind myself of is incredibly simple: do the work and let go. And really that means that I've got a sense of joy in what I do, and I can just do it for the joy of it. And the other is that I consistently am able to disconnect from it enough to realize that I'm a person that deeply cares about this and will continue to do my work in this space. But sometimes I need to just go for a run or get out in nature, or I guess even think about my work as my work and not as my value. So disconnecting those two are often the best things I can do.
So simple.
Simple is effective.
So simple. Gosh, I wish we just remember how simple things could be, right?
Yeah.
So, Aaron, one more question that I have for you. Actually, two more, but this one is really one of my favorite questions. When you imagine a better world, what does that better world look like through your eyes?
I think the idea of a better world to me really comes down to us as individuals making choices that extend beyond us on a consistent basis. And not that we can't make choices that are selfish. We can do things that inherently benefit us, but also benefit others. But I think the mindset shift from scarcity to abundance is really about making a choice that benefits me doesn't have to eliminate a choice for somebody else, and vice versa. If I make a choice for somebody else, that doesn't take away from me. And when that perspective skews, when the overwhelming majority believes in ideologies that are aligned there, we no longer have to worry about, well, did you get yours or did I get mine? Because we can both have ours. And I think at a very, very small level, the minutia of that belief will create incredible ripples. So aside from changing world hunger and global warming and all these other challenges that we have, some of the bigger problems, population control, traffic, electricity, all these different things that are changing, we are going to be bettered by just that alone.
Okay, so can you share one or two ways in which our community can support you right now?
Yeah, absolutely. The first is we are in the midst of launching an online course. We are first one. We're taking all of our instructor-led lessons that we've built over the last couple of years and converting them to a really powerful online course for parents and kids. So a family would go through these courses together and experience money from a different angle and really be able to talk about it, given that we've created the foundation for that conversation. So anybody interested in that can go to our website, scroll to the very bottom, and sign up for our email list. The second is email me. So my email is Aaron, Aaron, at ortusacademy.com, and that's ORTUS. And what I would love to learn is where you are struggling as a parent, as a young adult with money. And not the sense of like, well, I don't have $1 million. That to me is not the problem. I'm curious, if it's a mindset challenge, if you feel like you're encumbered by debt, if you don't know how to have the conversation with your kid about credit and how the world works, those challenges, just the real world challenges of like, hey, this is where I'm stuck. I'm eager to hear that, because we're trying to build this education based on where people are. And I think much of the education in finance right now is either high up in the stratosphere where it's really advanced, or it's so rudimentary that it's not helpful. And we want to build things that empower individuals to make better choices. That's
so great. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for today, for sharing your insights, for sharing your passion. I just love your energy. And I think that's really an attracting factor for even our community to get on board and, share with you, because there is this huge desire for all of us to learn more, be better, do good. And sometimes we just don't know where to place that energy, right? So now they have another opportunity to do that. So thank you again for being a part of this global initiative, featuring some goodness, in the world, and to allow you and us to really connect and be a part of that movement. Appreciate you.
Well, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to share, and for anybody tuned in, please reach out. I'd be even more grateful to talk again. So thank you very much for having me.
That's great. For those that are watching, thank you so much for following us, for supporting us, and for being a part of our SOAR community network. Please remember to nominate yourself or someone in your community who's making a huge ripple effect to create a better world for us. Please visit us at nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you very soon.